Protests erupt from coast to coast again, all of it to mark 2 months since the Occupy Wall Street movement began. And those protests, they have not been peaceful. In fact, in New York, they've intensified, they've become violent, and that's just today. Lonnie Wong is live for us at Sacramento City Hall, where occupiers have gathered there again. Lonnie, give us an idea of what the situation is like here at home.
Well, Eric, things have been pretty calm here on I Street near the old City Hall. As you can see behind me, there have been half a dozen or so protesters that have occupied this piece of ground, and relatively peacefully. They haven't been arrested. This is technically not a park, and so the police have been leaving them alone. A few miles away, a little bit different scene. Dozens, perhaps 100 protesters occupied a pedestrian bridge on Highway 99 near 12th Avenue. It's indeed the 2-month anniversary of the beginning of the Occupy movement that has spread throughout the country. The question that has to be asked is whether those efforts and the efforts here in downtown Sacramento are worth all the effort. They still get their share of support, but this is what's left of about 200 occupiers who began their protest at Cesar Chavez Park 2 months ago. Still, their rant against Wall Street remains.
Where does it end? When do we really get help back to help us live like humans?
The movement still draws fresh recruits. School worker Judy Painter came out for the first time today, worried that corporate greed will doom her 2 kids' futures.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious.
They claim to represent the 99% who are not Wall Street moguls. But do they?
I think the focus on 1% is ridiculous.
At middle-class McKinley Park, some believe the movement is simply griping without a goal.
I think more people, especially middle-aged taxpayers, could get behind them. But right now I can't unless they get more focused and more organized.
Even those who told me the occupiers were simply wasting their time said that they believe they have good reason to hit the streets and protest.
I think they do have a point.
Kimberly Bouchard knows plenty of people who were foreclosed on by banks that got federal bailouts. But making noise and getting arrested?
It's pretty tough for the people to affect change in that way.
But others are still curious about the movement. Today, Shelley Willits made a point of trying to find out more.
I think it involves more people than a lot of the people think.
A lot of support still being expressed out here, honking horns. People out here still maintain their enthusiasm. They seem to be addressing that criticism of organization. There's a general assembly now being held across the street at Cesar Chavez Park to organize committees and make it a more cohesive movement.
Great story, Lonnie Wong. But I did find 2 mistakes. I am not Judy Painter. She's the lady interviewed right before me, holding up a protest sign with cartoon images. My name is Jody Finneyfrock. I am not a protester. I was jogging at McKinley Park on November 17th when you stopped to interview me. Remember? After the news story aired on television, I emailed Fox 40 to see if they could correct the identity mishap. I got no response from them at all. Instead of feeling frustrated or disappointed, I took matters into my own hands.
To mark 2 months since the Occupy Wall Street movement began, and those protests, they have not been peaceful. In fact, in New York, they've intensified, they've become violent, and that's just today.
I screen captured your news story onto my computer. I sprayed out Judy's name and replaced it with my own. I also sprayed out the word protester and wrote jogger. Yeah, I know, Microsoft Paint is very rudimentary tool, but the point I'm trying to make is that film editors need to be very careful when spelling people's names or writing information about them. Otherwise, the news story is not accurate and doesn't carry as much weight. I hope you enjoyed my edited version. One last thing, Lonnie. I screen captured the Fox 40 news article onto my computer and made it into a bitmap file. Yeah, the resolution's a little low, but I did correct all the spelling mistakes.